Welcome to our next episode and installment of Don't Come Here, Stories of the Treasure Coast. Today we're talking about the wonders of the Treasure Coast. Stick around. We're joined by Chris Woodruff. He is the owner of two great businesses that we'll talk about here on the Treasure Coast, and our ecosystems restoration and ecotourism coordinator for Martin County, Emily Dark. Nice to have you both with us as we talk about wonders of the Treasure Coast. Now, when it comes to this eye full of wonders, we're not short of anything here along the Treasure Coast. You talk to anybody that visits or anybody that lives here, there's no place like it on earth. Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties, they offer rich culture, tons of museums, a super food experience anytime you're here, and the ice-scapes like no other. And today we're going to share some of those secrets. We'll start with Chris Woodruff, owner of two fantastic companies. One, Paddle by the Sea, and two, Vero Tackle and Water Sports. Chris, your reputation precedes you, my friend. You have this concierge thing down. How often do you get people coming in and just saying, hey man, where do we go?
Every day.
I'm sure.
Ideally every day. We do so many different things, so it's been kind of nice to be able to get them in multiple locations. They might show up at the beach, which is beautiful, but they might not know about the river, and vice versa.
Sure.
So we've been able to kind of share both experiences with them.
Visitors and locals, Chris, you're key to finding some of the best, let's say, bait and tackle to suit their needs, fishing charters, boat rentals. Do you find yourself doing that more than manning the store nowadays? We've had a lot of uptick in visitor numbers.
Yeah, honestly, all of it's been really busy, but I kind of gravitate. I'm also a boat captain, so I'm kind of the backup captain, which is where my happy place is. So, being the owner, it's nice to be able to get out of the office and get on a boat.
No doubt, no doubt. The happy places right here on the Treasure Coast, we're surrounded by them. What are some of the wondrous places on the Treasure Coast? Chris, Vero Beach minded, because we'll start in Indian River. Emily, you have some familiarity with the lagoons and the river systems around the Indian River County through St. Lucie and Martin County. We have you covered. There's no denying it. But let's say somebody comes in and they're wondering, where in the world do I go? Where do you send them? I mean, there's so many places. It's such a diverse community.
Yeah, and so many diverse guests too. So we generally start off with some questions back, like, what are you into? Is it a family group? Is it a couples group? And that might kind of dictate where we send them. We can kind of custom tailor an itinerary for them. Okay.
Paddle by the Sea. What are the largest groups that you can take out there and discover some of the wonders? Do you get families of 10, 15, and you're taking all those and trying to corral them? Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, we do. Actually, baseball-sized teams, usually 17 to 19.
Wow.
We have Dodgertown.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big one. We try to have as many paddleboards and kayaks that can handle a baseball or softball team. That's been something that happens quite often.
Okay, very cool. All right, take the team, have fun, get them out there and paddle, keep an exercise. But again, feasting your eyes on the wonders of the Treasure Coast. How about you, Emily? Somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I want to come down here, bring in the pup. We want to check out some of the wondrous places of the Treasure Coast. Right now in Martin County, focused occupationally, do you recommend, obviously it's going to be where they're staying. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the wondrous places that you suggest for folks?
Well, gosh, there are beautiful preserves, many different habitats. Some people like to enjoy walking their dog on the beach, which is fine, in some areas, obviously on leash, but the preserves are absolutely gorgeous. Martin County has an array of preserves from closer to town to out west, so.
Well, they do the wildlife touring. You've got the paddle tours. Is that your most popular activity by and large? People come in for the paddle tours?
Yeah, paddleboard and kayak and boat tours, sightseeing boat tours. That's a big one too. Yeah.
All right. Are you as well into the boats tours and sightseeing? You look like somebody who likes exercise. You like to walk the beaches, don't you?
I do, and I like to surf. And both
cool.
St. Lucie County, Martin County, great surfing. Swimming, yes, love the beach.
There's nothing like watching a kid graduate from boogie board to surfboard, watching them get up for that first time and then pushing them over. This is a great place to learn. There's not 50-foot waves that come sweeping through the shorelines. But at the same time, there are waves enough so that you can get a handle on what you're doing. This is a great place to learn and just immerse yourself in the amenities, the wonders that the Treasure Coast offers.
I would definitely say that, in terms of wonders, the Treasure Coast has the best beaches. You have so much undeveloped beaches in all 3 counties, and beautiful places to feel like, you're alone. It's not crowded. So these beautiful, uncrowded beaches.
I think St. Lucie County's got like 22 miles of beach, and most of that's undeveloped. Yeah. So again, another wonder of the Treasure Coast. The wildlife. Man, there is no shortage of wildlife. If I do a lot of fishing, a lot of angling, a lot of mostly catch and release. I'm a conservation fisherman. But at the same time, I'm never short of astounded by the wildlife and the variance of wildlife that you can see around the area. You guys are into the outdoors. I think the 3 of us, it's safe to assume that a lot of the people that are coming to the Treasure Coast are looking for outdoor activities. And so you guys have 2 easy ways of getting involved. Vero Tackle and Water Sports. Do you get a lot of out-of-state fishermen?
We do. A lot of snowbirds come down that will traditionally come with us annually, and then a lot of out-of-state fishermen.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and then of course you've got, as Emily, you mentioned, the preserves that are around. Savannah's Preserve, that is something to behold. And I've done the kayak tour at Savannah's. I've done the walking trails tours. It's just an eyeful. Every time you go out there, you see something different.
Yeah, Savannah's Preserve State Park is absolutely gorgeous. And what's really neat is that it's, along the coast, north and south. So you have these beautiful wetlands and these areas that normally would be developed in Florida, but it's just natural. And these, like you said, you can go for these hikes and see birds, alligators, all sorts of beautiful, Florida animals. It's gorgeous.
All right. There's a word that you and I were discussing earlier, ecotone. Explain ecotone for the folks out there so that they understand.
So it's really neat where we're located here on the Treasure Coast. You have temperate, so these cooler temperatures moving or transitioning into tropical. So think about, north, St. Augustine, think about the Keys. You have different habitats. So as they come together, you have the temperate meeting the tropical. So we're very biodiverse. So lots of different tropical and temperate species.
The wonders of the Treasure Coast. Let's go through our mind's eyes, and we'll start off. Let's go Indian River County. You've got Sebastian. You've got the McClarty Treasure Museum. You've got a ton of food experiences. I'm on US 1 coming south from Sebastian Fellsmere area and working our way. Eyescapes like no other. McKee Gardens is another one. If we're talking St. Lucie County, the St. Lucie County Botanical Gardens. You've got museums and rich culture and history throughout Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River County, again, all making up the Treasure Coast. Any other places that you send people and that you suggest through Indian River County, Chris?
You touched on a lot of really wonderful ones.
I love the Treasure Coast.
Yeah, it's great. We also in Indian River County have a wonderful art museum, and the theater is wonderful.
The art museum, well respected.
Yeah.
The theaters, the catch a show, why don't you? And then grab speaking of which, I hate to divert, but any of the downtown districts, they're wonders of the Treasure Coast. They're amazing. You go through this community of residential, and then there it is. There's nightlife amenities, there's food, and shopping galore.
Yeah, you have Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce. You have the Lyric in Stewart. You have the Elliott Museum in Stewart as well.
Yep.
You have the Adams Ranch Museum in Fort Pierce. There's so many different wonderful museums and cultural centers to
The
visit.
Farmers Market in Fort Pierce
Oh,
is unmatched.
Yeah.
You're right about that. It is unparalleled. Well said, well said. So at this point, let's put some focus on the natural wonders of the Treasure Coast. That's why we're here.
And we'll start with the Indian River Lagoon. As we mentioned, one of the most biologically diverse estuaries in the United States. It stretches along 156 miles of the Treasure Coast and beyond. The Indian River Lagoon, home to over 2,200 animal species. Truly stunning. Salt water from the Atlantic Ocean as it mixes with the fresh water from inland and tributary waterways, and this provides an ideal home for many of the birds and dolphins, fish, and wildlife that are encountered on the Indian River Lagoon. Truly a spectacular wonder of the Treasure Coast. And next up, the Savannas Preserve State Park. It is the last remnant of the Florida East Coast savannas. Now, the Savannas Preserve State Park protects a sample of basin marsh that once extended throughout South Florida. Visitors and locals enjoy the kayaking, the canoeing, and certainly the fishing in the wetlands that the Savannas Preserve State Park offers. Wildlife enthusiasts enjoy the diversity of habitats. This is an undisturbed area, and they have 17 miles of multi-use trails that provides ample opportunities for hiking, bicycling, and horseback riding. The Savannas Preserve State Park, another fascinating wonder of the Treasure Coast. Up north in Indian River County, we have the Sebastian Inlet State Park. Now, this is one of 5 inlets where the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian River Lagoon meet. The Sebastian Inlet State Park borders the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Indian River Lagoon on the other interior side. And as these two collide, it shows a definitive line and color difference between the two bodies of water where they begin to mix. Really cool science. And it's caused by the difference in minerals and density and salinity. You can see it unfold before your eyes. The Sebastian Inlet State Park really makes for beautiful views, and you can paddle out to all of them. It's a great place as well to catch a mix of marine wildlife. Moving south now to Jonathan Dickinson State Park, the largest state park in southeast Florida. Running through Jonathan Dickinson State Park is the Loxahatchee River. Now, this is Florida's first federally designated wild and scenic river. It is something to behold. Jonathan Dickinson is the only state park in South Florida where visitors can hike to the top of an 86-foot ancient sand dune. This is the highest natural point south of Lake Okeechobee. The nature and the history of Jonathan Dickinson State Park come to life through the exhibits and displays in the Elsa Kimball Environmental Education and Research Center. Visitors can enjoy paved and off-road biking, equestrian, and hiking trails. Boating, canoeing, kayaking along the river are also great ways to enjoy the unique traits that Jonathan Dickinson State Park offers. Truly a wonder of the Treasure Coast. And finally, Blowing Rocks Preserve, one of the most beautiful and fascinating stretches of barrier islands in Martin County, and for that matter, all of Florida. I love the snorkeling at Blowing Rocks. Blowing Rocks is named for the rocky Anastasia limestone shoreline. It's the largest on the U.S. Atlantic coast. Now, this magnificently restored sanctuary is going to offer a rare window into Florida's natural history. At high tide, when the seas are rough and the seas are breaking against the rocks, it forces plumes, these columns of salt water, upwards 50 feet skyward. Blowing Rocks is owned and carefully stewarded by the Nature Conservancy, and visitors can get a glimpse of one of our state's rarest surviving landscapes. This is an intact Florida dune habitat with beach sunflowers, bay cedar, sea grape, and sea oats.
Well, there you have it. There isn't much more prodding that's needed on our part. The rich history, the ecosystems, the incredible amenities. We've got Chris and Emily here who are awesome tour guides. And when I say concierge for this area, you would do no wrong.